Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another product review. And today's product review is on yet another red dot optics sight for a pistol. This is the ADE Advanced Optics model RD3-029, and as the box says, tactical reflex dot sight. And it has a lion on the cover. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be hunting lions with this red dot sight. It also has a leopard on this side and a deer on that side. But I don't really think this is supposed to be a hunting optic. I think this is supposed to be a defensive pistol optic. And it says on the side, designed in Oregon, made in China. Now I know that turns a lot of people off. Now I haven't even opened this box yet. I don't even know what's inside and what this thing looks like. But I do know there's a few other optics companies where their products are made in China that have gotten a pretty good handhold here in the United States when it comes to the marketplace for budget red dot optics that apparently work pretty darn good. I've actually reviewed one in the past that people like. It's from a company called Siley. So who knows, maybe these companies are stepping up their game. This could be a fantastic optic, and we're gonna mount it to a gun, we're gonna try out, and we're going to be using the Walther PDP in 9mm. One of the critiques I've gotten in some of my past videos is that I mount these Chinese optics to rifles and .22 pistols, and people are like, well, how does it run on a 9mm? It's gonna get a little bit more wear and tear on that. Well, we're gonna find out. But before that, I need to adjust the camera. We're gonna unbox this, see what's in this box, then see how it mounts to the gun. We're gonna take it to the range, try it out, and then we're gonna come back here and see what my final thoughts are. So here's the box. The ADE Advanced Optics Tactical Reflex dot sight comes in. And there's all the animals on the side. There is the model number, their website, adeoptics.com. On this side, that's where it says designed in Oregon, USA, made in China. And let's go ahead and open this box, see what we get, and maybe compare it to some other red dots that I have made in China. All right, so we get the owner's manual, we get some tools, some screws, a cloth in there. We get, I guess, an adjustment knob. Okay, there's that. We also get what appears to be maybe a screwdriver. All right, so we get a very tiny screwdriver. That's for the adjustments. That's kind of a nice touch. I've never seen that in any of the packages with the other dot sights. And here is the sight itself. Let's open this thing up. We get some silica gel. Throw that to the side. We have a cap on it. All right, let's take the cap off and let's see what this thing looks like. All right, so this one is called the Trumpet. Yeah. Now, I'm a professional trombone player. It should say trombone, but the model is the Trumpet. That one seems to be a little bit smaller than some of the other Chinese red dots I've seen. It says 4 MOA, so that's obviously going to be the size of the dot. The hood has some lightning cuts in it. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that or not. I don't think that's going to ruin the structural integrity, but you definitely don't want particulate or anything getting in there where the glass is. When it comes to the emitter, it looks like it's protected pretty well. We got the adjustment screws on the sides. And on the side here, it says designed in Oregon, USA with an American flag. So that's supposed to give you some confidence that there's some type of American manufacturing involved in this. There's their logo on that side. We got some buttons for increasing and decreasing the intensity. And I guess the battery maybe is in the bottom. I'll have to check that out. All right, here it says do not remove. So I'm not 100% sure how we're going to change the battery out of this, because the battery compartment is not on the top. But that window does seem to be a little bit smaller. I will definitely have to check out the owner's manual for how to operate this. But let's compare this to a couple of other red dots that I have that are made in China. Here is the one from the company Siley. This one's pretty popular right now. It has gotten a pretty good reputation for being pretty durable at an affordable price. There's the difference in sizes. We also have the Go Wutar one. Now this one looks very similar to this one, but I can tell the design and the manufacturing process is a little bit different. Some of the controls are in different places. The body of this one is a little bit thicker, Something else I'm noticing is that this one does have some backup iron sights built into it. That's kind of interesting. And the other one that we can compare it to is the Zalusi Owl. And I think this one is very similar to the Siley. This one's definitely a little bit bigger. The hood is a little bit more substantial. So this one is not like any of the other products that I have received from China. So this one seems to be very different in design and in function. All right, so I'm gonna spend a little bit of time with the owner's manual, figure out how this thing works, and we're gonna mount it up to the Walther PDP and make sure that it fits. It's supposed to have an arm or a footprint, so we're gonna double check that, and then we're gonna get it to the range. All right, so we got this optic all mounted to this Walther PDP. It fits on there really good. It's mounted nice and tight. I don't really have any issues with it. I did discover a few things about it. To turn it on and off, you simply either hold down the plus or the minus, and that will turn it on or off respectively. The battery compartment is here on the side. You can take it off with a little screw. Then you have to take this screwdriver and you can pry out the battery compartment. In some ways, I like this better than the Trigicons. I don't like having to take off the optic to put the battery underneath. And sometimes I don't like those battery compartments right here on the top. I do like this, but it actually is a little bit difficult to take out. I like the design. I think the execution could be a little bit better. Something that I noticed when it comes to the adjustments on this that I do not like is that when you do use the supplied tool, and you turn these screws, there are no clicks. It is just simply a smooth adjustment, both on the top and bottom. I think I would rather have those have a detent, and I think that they need to invest some time and energy in making them just like most of the other optics that you would buy, whether they be cheap or expensive. I've never seen an optic like this that didn't have click adjustments. It's just a smooth adjustment. So I don't know if that's going to affect the zero, if it's going to hold zero. I'm not 100% positive. When it does come to the light and the emitter, I can say that dot can be pretty bright. I'm going to see if I can get that on camera. I don't know, right there. And of course, that's not an exact representation of what it looks like on the camera. It looks a lot bigger. It is about a 4 MOA dot. It is clear. It's a very nice crimson color. I have no complaints about it. I'm just hoping this thing is going to hold zero. All right, so we're going to take this thing to the range now. We're going to see how it shoots. We're going to zero it, then put a bunch of rounds through the gun and make sure that it holds, see if it has any flickering issues. Then we'll come back here to the garage and I'll tell you my final thoughts. All right, so let's talk about what you just saw. Obviously, I was at the range. I had the target set at 7 yards, and that was not a very good group. I was also bench resting this. Before I took those shots, I actually co-witnessed this red dot with the iron sights. This is a very accurate pistol for me. But you'll notice that group essentially was a vertical line, and every time I shot, the point of impact got lower and lower and lower. And what I think is happening is as this slide is reciprocating and the sight is getting jostled, that emitter is getting knocked and that dot on the window is getting higher and higher. So the point of impact is getting lower because as the dot is still on the center of the target, the front of the gun is going down and down. And I don't think this is what it's supposed to do. Obviously. So my concern when it came to this sight's lack of clicks or any type of detent to hold the emitter in place, I think is very valid. I know in the comment section on the Texas Gun Vault 2 when I was talking about this, somebody said, hey, they have a SIG Romeo sight that has no clicks either, but it holds 0. Well, this is not a SIG. I don't think the quality control of this is at that same level. And I think my concern is very valid. So what I'm going to do, just to see if it really is the sight adjusting itself, is I'm going to load up another magazine. I'm going to adjust the sight back to be co-witness with the iron sights, and I'm just going to shoot it again. And every time that dot is going to be on the center of the target. So if my shots continually get lower, I know it is not holding 0. And these are just the first 10 or 20 shots with this, which says a lot. This, I don't think, is a quality sight, but I want to give it one more shot. So let me load up one more magazine and see what happens. And there you go. I think the proof is in the pudding. This is not a quality dot sight, and it's doing exactly what I predicted it was going to do. It doesn't have any detents or clicks in those adjustments, and you have to be careful whenever you buy a product from China, especially one that goes on a firearm. It's very easy to reverse engineer a dot sight or some type of scope. But these sights are made by people that aren't allowed to own guns, so they really can't test them. I know that many of these Chinese companies hire influencers and YouTubers to test out their products because they can't test them out themselves. So while it may look good on paper or very similar to another dot sight that comes off the assembly line here in the United States, and they go, well, it's good enough, we're going to sell it cheaper, we're going to sell a bunch of units. But they don't understand the wear and tear that these dot sights have to take. It is a lot. The reciprocating slide, that is a lot of G-forces on something like this, and it has to be well built, it has to be quality. And maybe they cut a corner, maybe putting those clicks in the adjustments costs a lot of money, or they didn't think it was necessary because they're not shooters, they don't understand these. They're like, well, you can adjust these a little bit. Maybe they tried it on some type of airsoft gun and it worked just fine. But actually mounting it to a real firearm, yeah, it doesn't work. And so I'm very disappointed with this. Now, I always try to be upfront and honest. I told you guys, they sent this to me for free, and obviously they're probably not going to be very happy with this review. But that's what I tell everybody. If you send me a product and I try it out and it doesn't work, I'm going to tell people. I'm not going to hold it back for another product or something else, or you replace it. I share with you what I get, and I share with you the experiences that I have. And this is what happened to this dot. I would not recommend this at all on my star system. It gets 0 out of 5 stars. It is not worthy of putting on any firearm. Maybe on an airsoft gun. That would be it. Something with absolutely no recoil, and you're looking for something that may look the part and may be cheap. Some of these Chinese red dots are actually pretty good, like this Siley one. This one has held up and it works great on 9mm pistols, and the adjustments have clicks. This one, however, does not. So I would completely avoid the ADE Advanced Optics Tactical Reflex Dot Sight. I would say avoid and do not buy. If you're looking for something cheap, go maybe with a Siley. If you're looking for one of these dots from China that's very affordable as compared to one of the American competitors. You do get what you pay for, and sometimes the Chinese companies really do a good job reverse engineering, and sometimes they do not. So while the box may say, designed in Oregon, made in China, I don't know what they're talking about, because I don't think any American shooter or company would design a red dot that doesn't have those clicks and would not hold 0. So 0 out of 5 stars for the ADE Advanced Optics Trumpet. Absolutely terrible. This thing is coming off this pistol as soon as I get done filming this video. So let me know what you think. And have you ever heard of this company? And now you do, and I'm telling you to avoid it. So I hope this helps somebody from making a bad purchase in the future. So, as always, thanks for watching.